Hey, I'm Max.
And I'm Kat.
We're your AI hosts here at Gut Check Daily. All our content is written and reviewed by a board-certified gastroenterologist. Today we're talking about post-infectious IBS, when a stomach bug rewires your gut. Quick reminder, this is educational content, not medical advice. Always consult with your doctor about your specific situation.
Let's start with the big misconception. When your gut changes after a stomach bug, people love to say, it's just stress. But if you had a clear before and after, one bad infection and then a whole new gut, that's a recognized condition called post-infectious IBS.
Exactly. You're not being dramatic and you're not imagining it. You had food poisoning, viral gastro, or a nasty bug, and ever since, your bathroom habits and bloating feel like they belong to someone else.
To make sense of it, picture your gut as a busy city. You've got electricity and wiring, that's the nerves, plumbing for traffic flow, that's motility, and a police force, that's your immune system.
Before the infection, maybe that city wasn't perfect, but you could live there. Then, a virus, bacteria, or parasite shows up like an invading army, and everything goes into emergency mode.
During the infection, your immune system floods the gut lining with inflammatory cells and chemical signals, and it speeds everything up to flush the invader out. That's the "I lived in the bathroom for 48 hours" phase.
For most people, once the bug is gone, the city cleans up and resets. Traffic lights working, pipes flowing, cops back to normal patrol. But in post-infectious IBS, that reset is glitchy.
The infection can actually injure tiny nerve fibers in the gut wall and the cells that coordinate muscle contractions. So instead of smooth waves, you get spasms in some areas and sluggish movement in others.
So your gut traffic turns into rush hour chaos, sudden cramps and urgency in the morning, then nothing moves later. Or your stool stays looser for weeks or months instead of going back to baseline.
On top of that, the immune system sometimes doesn't fully stand down. You're not seeing Crohn's level inflammation, but there can be a low-grade, smoldering activation in the gut lining that changes how the gut moves and feels.
And then there's the brain-gut hotline. After a big hit like an infection, that line can get oversensitized. Normal stretching or gas that used to be background noise suddenly shows up as pain, bloating, or run to the bathroom now.
This is key. That doesn't mean it's all in your head. It means the wiring from gut to spinal cord to brain is turned up too high. Real, measurable physiology, not vibes.
So when someone brushes you off with, your tests are normal, you're just stressed, what's usually happening is, the tests are ruling out big things like cancer, IBD, or celiac. They're not seeing these subtle nerve and motility changes.
Right. Colonoscopy, labs, and stool panels are designed to find structural disease or ongoing infection. They aren't great at detecting microscopic nerve damage or low-grade immune activation that defines post-infectious IBS.
Let's talk about what this actually looks like day to day. Because a lot of people listening are probably thinking, wait, that's my life. You often remember the origin story clearly.
You might think back to a trip, a sketchy meal, a norovirus outbreak at work, or a round of antibiotics after food poisoning. Before that, maybe pizza or salad just made you a little gassy. After that, it's like your gut suddenly has trust issues.
Patterns we hear about a lot. Loose stools that never fully go back to normal, multiple urgent trips in the morning, or bouncing between diarrhea and constipation. And bloating becomes the main character, not a side note.
You also may notice certain foods setting you off that never used to, especially high FODMAP carbs like onions, apples, wheat, beans, or big greasy meals. The food didn't suddenly turn poisonous, your gut's ability to handle it changed.
Think of it like this. Your gut used to be a roomy, flexible balloon. After the infection, it acts like a tight, oversensitive balloon. Same gas, same stretch, but now it screams instead of shrugging.
Then you get generic advice. Eat more fiber, Relax, drink water. Fiber can be helpful in many situations, but in a cramped, twitchy system, suddenly loading up can just mean more gas and cramping.
So you try to be good. You cut dairy, gluten, sugar, maybe joy while you're at it, and nothing quite adds up. Some days a food is fine, another day it wrecks you, and everyone keeps telling you your tests are normal.
And remember, normal tests mean we don't see cancer, inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, or another active infection. That's really important for safety, but it doesn't mean nothing is wrong.
No wonder frustration levels are off the charts. You're stuck between nothing serious is wrong and I still can't leave the house without scouting bathrooms. That's a miserable limbo.
So let's give you a practical framework instead of whack-a-mole dieting. You can think of post-infectious IBS as 3 overlapping problems: sensitive wiring, awkward motility, and a touchy immune layer.
And your goal is not to fix every one of those perfectly tomorrow. It's to stop poking the raw spots over and over and understand how your particular system reacts.
Step 1 is observation. For 2 to 3 weeks, track a few simple things: broad food categories, meal timing, stool pattern, pain or bloating, and context like sleep, recent illness, antibiotics, or your period if you menstruate.
This is not a perfection project. You're not trying to build a spreadsheet masterpiece. You're just trying to spot patterns. When X happens, my gut tends to do Y. Repeatable, not random.
For example, if your gut consistently hates huge late-night meals but does okay with smaller, earlier meals, that's pointing at motility and how fast or slow your gut moves.
Or if onions, apples, wheat, and beans reliably cause gassy pain or urgent trips 4 to 8 hours later, that suggests fermentation on a hypersensitive gut. Not that those foods are toxic for everyone, but they're rough on your rewired system.
That's where a structured low FODMAP trial can be useful. Not as a forever diet, but as a short-term way to turn down the background noise so you can see what truly bothers you.
Keyword: structured. It's usually an elimination phase for a few weeks, then systematic reintroduction to see which groups you react to. The goal is to expand your diet as much as possible, not live on 5 safe foods long term.
And it works best with guidance, ideally a dietitian who understands IBS, so you're not over-restricting or missing nutrients. But even on your own, you can apply the principle. Change one lever at a time, watch what happens, then adjust.
Let's zoom out to the immune piece. Post-infectious IBS often improves over months to a few years. But that's a broad range, and not everyone just magically recovers without help.
Exactly. Some people need gut-targeted medications to help motility, either gently speeding things up or slowing them down, or bile acid-focused meds if diarrhea is prominent. Others benefit from low-dose neuromodulators that calm nerve signaling.
Those neuromodulators are important to call out. They're sometimes antidepressant medications used at much lower doses to dampen pain signaling in the gut-brain axis, not because your doctor thinks you're just depressed.
And there are specific probiotic strains with data in post-infectious IBS. But this is where you really want a clinician who actually understands IBS, not just uses it as a label after ruling everything else out.
If your current provider's approach stops at, your colonoscopy is normal, you're fine, it's okay to ask for a second opinion or a referral to someone who works with functional gut disorders regularly.
Now, about that brain-gut connection. Over time, repeated pain, urgency, and fear of symptoms can actually train your nervous system to stay on high alert. That's called central sensitization.
Again, not psychological in the it's all in your head way. It's more like your alarm system got stuck on hair trigger. A little gas bubble rings the full 5-alarm fire bell.
That's why gut-directed hypnotherapy and cognitive approaches can help. They target how the brain interprets signals from the gut, retraining the pathway so every sensation doesn't equal panic.
I like to think of it as updating your phone's notification settings. You don't turn off all alerts. You just stop treating every minor ping like a 3 a.m. emergency.
And the research backs this up. These brain-gut therapies can reduce symptom severity and improve quality of life. They're tools, not accusations about your mental strength.
So if you're listening and thinking, but I'm already anxious because of my gut, that's exactly why these tools can be useful. They break the loop where symptoms feed anxiety and anxiety feeds symptoms.
Notice the theme here. Experiment, observe, adjust. Instead of chasing a miracle diet or supplement, you build a personalized map of what calms your particular system.
Let's give a quick example. Say you notice big dinners after 8 p.m. plus wine almost always mean a rough morning, urgent diarrhea and bloating. Smaller dinners earlier, with water instead of alcohol, feel way safer.
In that case, you've just identified a motility and irritant combo. Late, heavy load plus alcohol. You don't need to swear off evenings forever. You just know that's a high-risk pattern you can plan around.
Or you find that when you're on your period, your gut is automatically touchier, and high FODMAP foods that you sometimes tolerate become a no-go. That's valuable intel. You can preemptively simplify meals those days.
The opposite of this is rigid all-or-nothing rules. I can never eat out again, or I must cut 12 food groups forever. Usually backfires, nutritionally and emotionally.
Curiosity plus structure tends to win. Interesting. 3 times now, onion-heavy meals caused gas and urgency by bedtime. Maybe onions are a key trigger for me right now. That's a specific, testable hypothesis.
Then you can run a little experiment. Reduce onion for a few weeks, see if symptoms ease, and later try reintroducing in small amounts. You're gathering data, not punishing yourself.
Let's also normalize something: grief and anger. If your life is divided into before that stomach bug and after that stomach bug, it's completely valid to feel robbed of your old normal.
And part of coping is reframing. You can't rewind the infection, but you can learn the new operating rules of your system. And within those rules, many people regain a lot of freedom and confidence.
Exactly. The win isn't necessarily 0 symptoms forever. For many, it's, I understand my gut enough to predict and manage flare days, and I'm not scared of every meal anymore. That's huge.
To recap the key takeaways, post-infectious IBS is a real physiologic condition that can follow a clear infection. It involves altered nerves, motility changes, and low-grade immune activation, plus a sensitized brain-gut axis.
Your normal tests are reassuring for serious disease, but don't rule out IBS. And rather than hunting for a single magic fix, you'll likely do better with layered strategies: food pattern experiments, brain-gut tools, and medication support when needed.
Next time, we'll get into how post-infectious IBS compares to other IBS subtypes and why that matters for treatment options. The subtype can actually shape which levers are most worth pulling.
In the meantime, if this episode sounded uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone and you're not broken. Your gut took a real hit, and now it's playing by new rules. You're just learning the playbook. That's it for today. I'm Max.
I'm Kat.
For more gut health insights, visit gutcheckdaily.com. Thanks for listening.